Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. Help, it's a big word, particularly if you need it. And is there a respectful, kind way to ask for help? Have you ever felt disrespected when somebody's asked for your help and perhaps they haven't built a relationship with you first? And it's interesting because in my circle of influence, as I often share, I have some people who are often asked for help because they're influential, they're financially free, they've got life experience, and they are in the position that they can help. But again, some of my friends in that position have had a little wine to me, and I always ask them when they wine, would you like some cheese with that wine? And suggest that perhaps whining doesn't fix things. Maybe you need to give the feed forward, I like to call it feed forward rather than feedback, to the people that are asking for your help. But some of my circle of influence have had a little bit of a whine because when people ask for their help, they often do it disrespectfully. So it's been suggested by the best in the world, the people with good manners, with superb etiquette, the people perhaps that are a little bit older that have superb etiquette, that it would be disrespectful to ask for help. And there's two things to consider. Have you done everything you possibly can on your own first? There's a great expression, the best place to find a helping hand is at the end of your own arm. And is it possible that if you've done everything that you possibly can yourself, that there are people who can help you and they're more likely to help you if you have done everything that you can? The second part is that if you don't have a relationship with somebody, so if you haven't spoken to somebody for a few months or a few years, or if you don't know the person at all, is it possible that the disrespectful thing to do would be to ask for their help if you haven't done everything you can on your own first and you haven't built a relationship with the person that you're asking help from? So if you need help from somebody, could it be a really good idea? And it's been suggested by the experts and by my circle of influence that are having a little bit of a whine about this, that if you are not friends with somebody, if you haven't created a relationship where you're in the position to ask, then you probably shouldn't. So if you knock on somebody's front door and ask them for money, we often find that offensive or disrespectful. Now, there's a lot of people that do that, but have you ever been in that situation? It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it's hard to say no, and the people that do that, of course, just expect that 1 out of 100 people might say yes, which means 99 people will say no, go away. That's called cold calling, asking for help without a relationship. That's what cold calling is. Please, can you give me money, help, etc., without building a relationship first? And one of the things in business that's really interesting, my suggestion is to never ever cold call. If you want to market your business, if you want to grow your business, really important to build a relationship with somebody before you ask them for money, before you ask them to buy your product or service. So how do we build those relationships? And it's been suggested that respect comes from asking questions and listening to the answers. And that's in every situation, of course, but particularly if you want to ask help from somebody, if you pick up the phone and say, please can you give me money, or please can you give me advice, or please can you help me, without the relationship comes from us getting to know each other. If you and I don't know each other and you ask for my help, it's probably in a situation, or it could be considered disrespectful. And I'll ask the question again, have you ever been in that situation where somebody's knocked on your door or called your home, or they don't know you, or they haven't spoken to you for a really long time, and they ask for your help, or they ask you to give them money, or they ask you for a job? So I'm asking you very respectfully, so that I can share with my friends who have had a little wine to me, that the first part is, please do everything that you possibly can. The research, the study, looking for the money, whatever it is that you need, have you done everything that you possibly can first? So that when you go to somebody for help, you can actually say that. I have done these 3 things, 10 things, 50 things on my own. I've got to the point now where I can't go any further by myself, and I would really appreciate your help. Please, can you help me? and be very respectful of the person that you're asking. Now, this is a really interesting one. If you go to somebody, perhaps do the research on who is the best person to go to. Because again, a lot of people complain to me that somebody's come to me for my help, but they've been to 10 other people for help as well. I've given them my time, my energy, my passion, my enthusiasm, my life experience, my knowledge, my advice on what they should do. I've even given them money perhaps, but they haven't taken my advice. They've taken my money, not my advice, and they've gone to lots of other people to get advice. So here's a great idea. If you're going to ask somebody for help, perhaps do the research first. Who is the best person to get help from? Build a relationship with them, and it's been suggested that there's at least 3 contacts with a person before you ask for help or before you ask for money. 3 very specific, there's no requirement for that person to do anything for you. In fact, it could be the other way around. You're doing something for them before you ask for them to do something for you. That's just called good manners, isn't it? If you call somebody and you don't know them and you ask for help, ask for advice, ask for money, and then you ask 10 other people for advice, help and money, and then you don't take the advice of the person that you've asked, could that person then feel disrespected? This is a really interesting process because we live in a world right now where you hear this all the time. Oh, you should ask for help. You shouldn't be embarrassed to ask for help. Well, I'm really privileged that I was taught at a very young age that I have 2 hands, and the best place for me to find a helping hand is at the end of my own arm. And I will share with you very personally that I would rather eat off my own arms than ask for help. I'm one of those people. I don't like to ask for help. And it's very rarely that I do ask for help, but I'm very aware that if I'm going to ask somebody for help or for advice, that I have a relationship with them that is respectful. I know them. I know that they're the best person to ask advice from, and I only ask one person. I would never be so disrespectful to go around asking 10 people for advice, waste their time, and then not take their advice. Another really interesting side note that people have, my circle of influence have shared with me, they find very annoying, that when people call them, and it might be people they know or don't know, but the person says, "Can I buy you a cup of coffee? I want to pick your brain." And I won't use the exact words that this one of my personal friends shared with me, but the response was, if you think that my advice is only worth the cost of a cup of coffee, very disrespectful. So when you're asking for help, particularly if it's of a professional person with life experience of means who could definitely help you, perhaps it's really important to ask. I would really appreciate your advice. I respect that you're the right person to help me. I've done my research. I've done everything I can on my own. You're the very best person to help me. What will be my financial investment to get your advice? Now, I will share with you that the people in my circle of influence are very happy to help. They're very happy to give advice. They're even really happy to give money. In fact, they love to give money. But they get very cranky when people are disrespectful of their life experience and what their time and advice is worth. So there's 2 things that'll happen. Somebody might say to you, yes, my professional advice is worth $500 an hour. For example, if you go to a top lawyer, it'll be more than $500 an hour. If you go to a top medical professional, it'll be more than $500 an hour. And they might say to you, yes, I'm very happy to help you. Come to my office, and when you leave, it's going to your dollar investment will be $500, $700, $1,000 for the time. Or they might say, yes, I'm very happy to give you my advice. My professional fee is this. I'm happy to waive my fee, but I want to know before you arrive what you've done for yourself to make sure that when we get together that you have done everything you possibly can on your own. Do you need to ask for help is my question. And if you ever do, I'm asking you please be respectful. There's 2 reasons for that. One's very selfish. I have some people whining at me because people are disrespectful of their time and disrespectful of asking, or the way they ask for help. But there will be a time where we all need help, and I will share again. I don't like to ask for help, but there's certainly been times in my life where I've had to ask for help, advice, and even money. Interesting thing about money, and this is again just a side note, there are financial institutions for that. If we think that our family or our friends or our next door neighbour or somebody in our circle of influence is the best person to ask for money, could it be a really good idea to use the financial institutions rather than take advantage of our friends? Now, we might have friends and family that are happy to give us money, but do we really want to be in that situation? And that's one of those situations I never want to be in. I want to make sure that I'm on track to being financially free and financially secure by asking the right people. If I've got a medical challenge, I ask a medical professional. If I've got a challenge with my car, I go to a mechanic. If I've got a legal challenge, I go to a lawyer. If I've got financial challenges, I need to talk to somebody who is an expert in finances. And that may not be your family. And I know that they'll probably want to help if you've got a great family, but wouldn't it be nice to not have to? And that's what I'm here for every day. Romax is a very personal thing for me. It's about living your life to the max. So yes, having a healthy, fit, strong body. Yes, having a career or business that you love. Yes, being financially free. And I'll use the finances as an example. There are so many places to get financial advice. It's probably one of the easiest things out of the 4 parts of life: healthy, fit and strong, career or business that you love, financial freedom and great relationships. Finances is the easy one because it's numbers, it's money. If you do this, this will be the outcome. There's very little room for mistakes. There's so much information now on how to invest wisely and how to do the best with your money that you probably don't need help. And I'll ask again though, if you're going to ask people for money, please do it respectfully. Please build a relationship first, and please do everything you possibly can on your own. If you've ever had somebody knock on your door or call you at an inappropriate time, or just the fact that they've come to your house uninvited and asked you for money or asked for your time, and you found that disrespectful, maybe that's something we should consider. If we're going to ask for help, have I done everything I possibly can on my own? Am I asking respectfully? Have I built a relationship with this person? Will I be respectful of their advice and or their help and or the money that they give me? And then probably the last part is, if somebody does help me, if somebody does give me advice, if somebody does give me money, how do I thank them? Now, it might be initially that I have to pay them for their help, and so be it. And I'll take that a bit further. If I invest $500 in somebody's advice for an hour, but it helps me make $1 million, what a great investment. And that's why you've got to pick the right person, because if you do pick the right person, that will probably be the return on your investment, because they'll teach you all of the things that you don't know, and the mistakes that they've made you won't have to make, and it'll save you a lot of money. You could make a lot of money. So the dollar investment is awesome. But if somebody gives you their time and or their advice and or their money, how do you thank them? And I don't think an email cuts it. I don't think a text message cuts it. I think it's really important to be very grateful and very appreciative of somebody's help. And that might be a special gift, and make sure that, here's an interesting thing with gifts. People say it's the thought that counts. Yes, well, make sure you give it some thought. Make sure you do some research. And if you're going to thank somebody, make sure you thank them in a way that's going to be appropriate. I often have a giggle because people often buy me bottles of wine, which is great for K-Man, my gorgeous husband, because he loves wine, but I don't drink at all. So if you're going to buy somebody a gift, if you're going to invest money in thanking somebody for what they've done for you, because they've given you help, advice or money, please make sure you find out what it is that they love. Make sure it's not just the thought that counts, but it's the research about that person, so you end up giving them the right gift. Hand addressed notes are beautiful because people don't do them anymore. Cards are beautiful because people don't do them anymore. But there's a beautiful thing called the love language, and we all have a different love language. It's like some people speak Japanese and some people speak Indian or German, and some people speak English, and some people speak Spanish. Love languages are a way of communicating our love to somebody in their language, and we all have a different language. So if you're going to thank somebody for their advice, for their help and their money, please make sure you thank them in their language. So you might write them a note, but they're not into personal notes. You might buy them a bottle of wine, but they don't drink. You might offer to mow their lawn, but they've got a lawn mowing service. But see, for some people, if you offer to mow their lawn, that could be the ultimate gift and so much better than a bottle of wine. So that process, do everything you possibly can on your own before you ask for help. Build a relationship with somebody before you ask for their help, so it's not just cold calling. Please make sure you are respectful of their advice and you've done the research and found that this is the right person to get advice from, not from 10 different people. And then make sure you thank appropriately. Thank the person that's done something for you. And even if you don't use their advice or you don't use their money or the relationship's not going to continue, could it still be a really good idea to thank them for their time and thank them for investing time in you? Please do that, because I have some people in my life who right now are a little bit cranky because they want to help. They've got the money to help. They've got the life experience to help. But sometimes the people that ask for their help are very disrespectful, and I would not like that reputation. I would love to be known as the person that if I have to ask for help, I've done it in the respectful and kind way that it should be done. Thank you for coming to Romax. My name's Rowie. I'd love you to live your life to the max. And wouldn't it be nice to be the person that can help rather than the person that has to ask for help? I always share that passionately. I would like to inspire people rather than have to be inspired. I would like to motivate people rather than have to be motivated. I would like to be the person that can give help rather than the one that has to ask for help. And that's what Romax is all about, so that you can live your life to the max in every area of your life. And then you can sing like I do every day. I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would now, na 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 na. Because I've got helping hands at the end of my own arm. Woohoo!